Welcome to CarePod, a safe place to educate, inspire, and renew the caregiver. Listen in with our host, Dr. Kiplee Bell, as she interviews different experts along the caregiving journey.
Okay, so I'm here with Basiliso Moreno today, and I'm really always excited to chat with uh, persons of color that have a rich history that they are offering their respective communities. He is a social worker. He has a consulting firm where he sits with Gen X folks to get us all in order regarding our finances and specifically how we manage our finances of our nuclear families and those that we are caring for. So happy to have you here with me. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Care Pod.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Bell. Pleasure.
Yes, yes. So, okay, tell me about your why. What brought you to the social work space? What drives you now? What's the skill set that you use in your own personal caregiver journey, etc.?
I don't want to give a long-winded answer, but it's kind of a
It's okay.
long-winded story.
Let's go. We
Um,
love long-winded over here. We love it.
so how I got into social work, oh man, is well, I didn't when I graduated my undergrad, I actually wanted to be a sports broadcaster, and I graduated May 2001. So 9/11 happened, and that completely kind of changed everything. In my regarding my path, I went through a temp agency, did the whole testing, computer testing, written exam, and they didn't reach out to like a couple days after Christmas in 2001. It's like, hey, we got this job for you. It's like, I'll take it. I wasn't working at the time, doing odd jobs here and there, but nothing consistently. Even working for my dad for a little bit, and then this foster care job just came about, and so I was like, I took it. So it was a temp job, making like $8.25 an hour for my social workers out there. That's like insane to do such um hard work and stressful work. I did get a raise to like 850 because I'm bilingual, speak Spanish.
Yeah.
um they had an HR change, so they were like my paperwork to make me permanent got lost in the shuffle. They're like, hey, I've been here for a while now. What's happening? You're gonna make me permanent, or I need to leave because I can't do this anymore. So after 6 months, they made me up, offered me a permanent position, and stayed there another 2.5 years. And like, I can't do this anymore. So that's how I even got into for the social service aspect. And I noticed during that time, supervisors having MSWs, a master's in social work, and getting supervisory roles. I had no intention of going back to school after my bachelor's, but I saw if I wanted to make more money, stay in the field, like that was my next goal. And I had a mentor, was actually one of my former supervisors at the time, was like, you need to get your master's in social work. Like there's no that's your next goal. So he kept pushing me, like, all right, this is the next goal. So I went 3 years in grad school and got my master's in social work and been running ever since.
I love it. I love it. So, which are you in the child space or
Ri-
still
right
what are you
now,
doing now?
right now, I work at an outpatient hospital setting, working with adults living with HIV and AIDS in Delaware.
Wow, wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
Amazing work. Okay, so a couple of things. One of my pain points, I actually want to get back to learning Spanish because I hate the interpreter phone. I
So
I
do I.
hate that the gap. I have native staff that say to me, "The interpreter did not say what you said."
Right.
They are not communicating fully what you said or what the patient said. So that
Right.
is one of my goals to get my medical Spanish on. But I believe that there's an isolation for folks that where English is not their native tongue to be able to advocate for their loved one at bedside, to understand medical terminology, et cetera. So that's so important.
No,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah. So tell me about being a busy professional now and caregiving for pops. Tell me about that.
Well, I was caregiving for both my parents until 2020 when the world shut down, pandemic came. At the time, well, let me backtrack a little bit. I was raised as a single child. I do have two half brothers, two half sisters, but basically, my parents, they just had me. Um, like 2005, I moved out, and got engaged to my now ex-wife. I had two kids, moved to Jersey from New York. Then we got divorced, moved back home to the Bronx, got brought the kids with me. So it was like the five of us in the one bedroom apartment in the Bronx. And for 2016, my ex-wife had passed away.
Oh
So
my.
that, kind of navigating that with the kids and, grief and loss and still at times dealing with that. I think I'm more now dealing with that more than the kids do. The kids are just Roblox, school, like homework, it's video games. So every once in a blue it does come up, but they're so into their own stuff. And then, kind of like, all right, taking care of my parents and see the day to day, see, my mom had diabetes, but still wanted to like buy her cake, buy, doing stuff she shouldn't be doing in terms of food and like not telling the doctor all her business that she needs to be telling the doctor until like, what do you mean the doctor said nothing was wrong? Like you can't hear, like you have issues with your hearing, you're falling, your gait is bad, you got some vertigo issues happening. Like, why is the doctor not doing? It ended up not being the doctor's fault, just my mom not telling what she needed to tell the doctor to get better. So one day, this was like 2019. I told my mom, like, I'm not gonna be home this weekend. I'm going to visit, the kid's godmother, taking the kids with me. And then the next day after that, I got a wedding to go to. Please take care of yourself. At the time, my mama had a bad fall to a point she had a couple staples in her head. So her gait was always a issue. Like, just please be careful. Of course, I get to my godmother's house and I get the phone calls like she had falling and was taken to the hospital and come to find out she had broken her ankle in both places and needed to go to a short-term rehab. Of course, going back to the diabetes, that messed things up even more because now she developed bed sores in the same ankle she
Mm.
broke and needed a wound vac, which is actually like a handheld vacuum that they put on your skin to heal whatever open sores that you have in your skin. For those who don't know what a wound vac is. So, and then to the point where the rehab, like actual physical therapy, was going terribly, to a point I need to supervise this rehab to see what's going on because there's no way like my mom like lost all her strength from like this bad fall when she broke her ankle and to the point where she literally couldn't really do much to the point they considered her bedbound. So to the so that happened and like she can't stay in this nursing home anymore. So this is like literally a month right before the lockdown happens. So at the time I was actually working with older adults in my 9 to 5 as a social worker. So like my home life is mirroring my work life. Setting up, I set up some discharges from nursing home placements back home into the community, or setting up discharges from like the hospital back home. So now I'm setting up my own discharge from my own mom to figure out what would be the safest plan for her to go back
Oh
home.
my. I feel you. I feel you. Go
So
ahead.
she finally came home. We just had to like suck it up and just figure out a way put a hospital bed in the home, and we're gonna make this work. So soon after the lockdown came, so any medical care had to be done like over the phone, which was like worst case scenario for her because she literally just got home and needed to see the doctor face to face, and that couldn't happen. So literally, luckily for me, my girlfriend at the time, who is now my second wife, she worked as a teacher assistant at a preschool. So they went virtual. And so we decided together for my two kids to live with her in Queens while I still had to go to the office even after the initial shutdown. And so I'm literally Monday through Friday going to work and coming home and taking care of my mom, who was now in the hospital bed all day, while also making sure my dad's okay, not for him not going crazy. And then on the weekends, I would go and be a parent for for my two kids. So I would see them like on the weekends. So it was almost like I had like visitation from my own two
Oh
kids,
my.
seeing them on the
Oh my.
weekends. Even though I had like, no, they're my kids and I got like,
Right, right.
custody of them and everything. So it was a crazy time. And then obviously April came in, and by that time I was able to work from home. And one day I go to the kitchen just to get something to eat. So mind you, I'm like masked up in my own house, like making sure like since I'm going out occasionally seeing clients, at that point I was only doing like emergency visits, just for my own safety. I hear my mom coughing, like she was taking her medicine and drinking some Gatorade and started coughing. I was like, "Oh, you all right?" But the coughing just kept getting worse. So it sounded like she was like choking on just drinking some Gatorade and her medication, to the point she became like really bright red, to the point that I had to call 911. So this was, mind you, this is April 2020, and so you know people were going in the hospital and literally dying in the hospital. So 911 came, the EMS came, and like kind of literally said what I thought was like my last goodbye, like in the hallway of my apartment building. I think I'm not going to see her again. Luckily, the doctor, the ER, a couple days later called me, and I was able to do a WhatsApp video, talking to mom. She seemed, pretty conscious, just confused because in the hospital wanted me to go see her in the hospital. Like I can't, like, we got COVID happening. They're not allowing any visitors in the hospital, the whole bit. So, and then like a few days after that, she came home. They discharged her, and so that posed the issue because my dad is autoimmune. So he had a kidney transplant years ago. So now I'm dealing with my mom coming home, and but he can't be home to be discharged. So like all his doctors started calling me like crazy, like where are you gonna put your dad at? I'm like, he's gonna be home. I don't have any other family members that he could go to and stay with and live with. We just gonna work it out. So my mom came home, and however, like her affect like totally changed within the few days that I spoke with her, to a point like literally like had like flat affect, like she couldn't really respond to anything or really speak anything. So I guess something happened with her brain that she just wasn't herself, like herself. So literally like the next morning I like called 911 again, like, hey, like, I need to pick her up. Like this is not her baseline. This is not, no, I literally had a conversation with her a couple of days ago. She was like alert oriented. She knew where she was at and having a full blown conversation. And so the doctors were like, what do you mean? Like, so like again, I had a conversation with her literally a few days ago in the ICU. She was alert. She was talking. No, she just it was hard to kind of the right word to kind of describe how she was, but just basically she can like mumble a few words and like just water, asking for water or something like that. Just real basic stuff, if even. So literally to the point I told the hospital like I can't care for her anymore. She needs long-term care placement. At the time I had hurt my finger previously, and then I had just gotten diagnosed with like two herniated discs in my back. So like I can't physically care for my mom anymore. And it was just a lot of toll. Plus, I need to be mindful to take care of my own kids. Um, so, we came up with a plan to place her in long-term care. Fortunately, but she only lasts, she's the first weekend of May 2020. She passed like the week before, exact week before Mother's Day, she passed away as a
Wow.
result from COVID. So, on top of that, at work, I was losing clients from COVID as well. So, like I said, my work life was literally mirroring my home life and having multiple uh, deaths literally happening simultaneously.
Wow. And you're still standing.
Yeah.
You're still standing.
Are you a busy professional caregiver, stressed, worried, thinking about how you're going to manage all the activities of daily living, plus caregive for your aging loved one? What to do? Soccer practice, wash the clothes, eggs, milk, bread, pasta. Enter in Care Cab. Care Cab to the rescue. Our Care Cab support staff will do that heavy lifting for you. Check us out, Care Cab at impactfulcaregiving.com.
You're still standing.
Yes.
So much came out of that as I was listening, because there's a lot of men that are caregivers.
Yes.
The men come forward and they say, hey, I see your event. I saw this, but I don't know if it's just for the ladies, whatever. But what do you say to the male caregiver? Because, what a thing to be able, I resonate with you on so many levels,
Mm.
as a, single parent household, raised, divorced mom, the whole thing, you know, then when you speak about how your professional life and your personal life are mirroring one another, trying to be fully present for your own nuclear family, your profession, and honoring your aging loved one. And then, whereas I will cry right now, right? Like I will cry that out. But, as a male, how have you handled all of that and continue to, I would think, still walk that grief out in a sense?
Yes. So out the blue, one day, this was a few weeks after my mom's passing, I was just sitting on the couch, either on the phone or I'm on the laptop or whatever, and then these words just popped in my head, and they rhymed, and I just started writing stuff down to a point like, oh snap, I got a poem, and then it became like two poems to a point like I had like between like April 2020 to like June 2021, just like these words popped in my head. Actually moved out of New York, moved to Delaware, became a first-time homeowner. So
Good for you.
um, I just wrote all of that to the point that I released the poetry book in June, actually July 2022. I released the poetry book called Triumph Through Pain: How to Maximize Your Full Potential in Hard Times. Talk about my grief, loss, financial education, and anxiety, all the things that are not normally talked about in our Black and Brown communities. And the anxiety of moving to a new state. Literally had like no friends, no family, just my wife now, my second wife. She all her at least her nuclear family, like her brothers and her parents live in Delaware, so at least had that support and just finding a new job and just navigating the systems that Delaware has compared to New York. And mind you, through 2020, I was prior to pandemic, 2019, 20, early 2020, I was going back and forth to Delaware. So it wasn't like a whole cultural shock. Like, all right, we're leaving, we're going to Delaware, we're going to Delaware. So at least I had some familiarity with the area and things of that nature. But still, I'm still getting used to to Delaware over 3 years later. So just writing, releasing or I wrote a book. Um, I'm a social work podcast host. Just recently was voted top social work podcast for 2024 to listen to.
Love it.
It's called the Social Work Rants podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on all audio platforms.
Tell me
Also,
again. You said the social
the
work
Social
rant.
Work Rants podcast.
There's a social work rants podcast. And tell me again the name of the book.
It's called Triumph Through Pain: How to Maximize Your Full Potential in Hard Times.
Beautiful. And this is where, on Amazon, or
Yeah, it's
where?
on
How does someone
Amazon.
get? Okay.
It's on my website, Bas Moreno, BasMoreno.com. I'm trying to do an audiobook. It's taking me longer than I want to, but hopefully this year the audio version will be out as well. So staying busy. But
Good for you.
also now, like the grief. A year and a half ago, I was working at a public school as a school social worker. And my mom works as a paraprofessional in the Board of Education in New York. So that year, that's when the grief kind of started. Because I'm literally in the school. My mom worked at a school, so like that the grief on top of day-to-day kid struggles. So it was a lot mentally for me, to a point that like I can't work out of school anymore, and I had to change the job
Mhm.
as a result of it. And just because the kids, it was like the first full year that the kids came back every day from pandemic. So literally had kindergarteners and first graders their first experience in school for the most part. And they're so used to everything being on iPad and YouTube and stuff, and they see a piece of paper with a pencil, do some work, and like, so it was a lot of behavioral issues. I'll put it like that. That a lot of people weren't used to dealing with. I know myself, I wasn't used to some of the stuff that I saw I had to deal with day to day. Like, no, this is not for me. So,
Yeah.
just it was a lot to navigate. And I'm now been going to therapy recently, so I'm not now kind of deal with the not only like the loss of my mom, but also like finally like never really dealt with the grief of losing like my ex-wife and having that. I did write a chapter. I'm a co-author also of Latinx, Latina in Social Work Volume 2 is a Amazon bestseller. So actually, with permission of both my kids, like, hey, like I wanted to talk about, issues that I dealt with, regarding your mom and like her passing. Are you okay with me writing about that? They're like, yeah, right. We able to read it? Like, sure. I don't, whatever questions they have, like, I don't, I try to be as honest with them without, being age appropriate. That's kind of like a fine line in terms of parenting, with them, because there is a lot in some of the stuff that I may not never tell the kids, but the ins and outs of what kind of really happened, because that's at the end of the day, that's still their mom. And uh, you know, they don't need to know all the details, but at least some of the stuff I was able to share to the world and kind of open myself up and kind of help myself heal, because I need to heal somehow, some way of
Absolutely.
forgive
Absolutely.
myself and give myself grace, and but also at the same time, life is
Moves
life is
on.
always exactly moves on, whether it be good or bad. It's just like, all right, like, what's next?
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm curious, my heritage is from Antigua, and the Caribbean culture is, a culture is a village of caregiving. It's not a thing. Like it's just you take care of your own. There's multi-generational living. The way of life is such where you honor your loved one until the end. And I find that to be a given internationally, where here in the States, we're more reactive. We make caregiving, it is an overwhelm. Speaking to your earlier points about being a professional and having your life mirror your personal life, your professional life mirror your personal life, and trying to juggle all of those things. What have you found in the Latin community to be a thread that you carry even as you care give currently to your father?
Oh man, it's kind of hard to say because every country kind of does their own thing per se. I know, like, media, especially everything with the migrant situation that's happening, they just want to lump us all together. Myself, I'm Puerto Rican, different from, my ex-wife was raised in an Ecuadorian, household, and we're totally different, from food to kind of language and things of that nature. I know for myself, like, kind of, and my mentality was like, all right, it takes a village to care. So luckily, I had my parents that step up to the plate and help me pick up like my kids from school, or if they had an appointment or something. Help cook and whatever, for them. And when my mom passed, and luckily, well, my aunts, her sisters, they knew that I did all that I could to, take care of her, and like literally it was like bathing her, like changing her, like, to the point of like changing diapers and things of that nature. That they knew that, you did all you could, and they gave me that grace, when she passed away. And then, regarding my dad, he's having his own issues of, he hates living in Delaware. He's been living like 2 years, and like just misses the convenience of New York. You just walk down, go to the grocery store, it's down the block, or the supermarket's around the corner. Like everything, like just basic needs. You need a car to do basic needs, food shopping, getting a haircut. The little things, end up mattering, and so we try to do that. And going back to your point about being a male, caretaker, luckily I had other males, even like my own clients, like, who are male, caretakers, and we just, at the end of the day, we just do, that. No, that's my dad. That's whoever. That's my aunt, and like the responsible one, and you know, m- like my half siblings, regarding, like, we share the same dad, but I'm pretty much the main one who handles, like, whatever finances, any like decisions. So it comes down to me, and then I just share the information with them.
So how, I really applaud you because you're saying, listen, I've gotten myself into therapy. I have identified those pain areas in my life that I need to heal from. Um, is that what you encourage? Like, do you consult or have male workshops with other male caregivers, colleagues, where you say, this is how we need to support one another in
Whatever
that way?
works, whatever works for you. Like, I always, like, for me, was writing, and then like became like podcasting. Like, now I share how, when my mom passed away, I shared the day I found out my ex-wife passed away. I was literally at work when I found out, my ex-wife passed away, and my son was I took my son to work that day, and that was the day. So I'm literally my worst fear happened at work, and like how I'm going to explain to my son that his mom passed away. So just life likes to throw curveballs at you. Just do whatever kind of works for you. I mean, like I said, I thought writing books was going to help, and podcasting was going to help, and like, I think, going to church, was helping. It still is helping. Going to church consistently, and actually helping. They open a new chapter of the church in my neighborhood, and kind of help with the serving with that, or like then kind of do my own soul searching of like I still need more, and like, all right, let me finally like talk talk to somebody about what I'm feeling, and kind of give myself the grace, and like look at how much I've done in all this it's really a short amount of time,
Amazing. Amazing.
and just give
Yeah.
give myself flowers, in which we don't normally do. And kind of like do that, but at the same time, deal with the grief, and so whatever works. Like obviously, there as a licensed mental social worker, I was going to say, yeah, go to therapy, but there's always 988, and just you don't get to a point where you gotta have like now 911 involved. Like whatever works for you, whether it be going to the gym and like bust out the weights, and like or like I've done that too. Like I like somebody who annoys me, like just take it out on the weights. So I've done that. Whatever works in terms of something recreational, like playing basketball, or whatever, going to the gym, or the therapy, writing, or journaling. Even my elementary days was journaling, just because I had to in class, but that helped as I became early in my young adult self, was journaling a little bit. So just whatever works for you. Everybody's different.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because obviously wanting to give honor to the male experience as a caregiver. And it just speaks to your own resilience. Like, brother, I see you. I mean, to carry everything that you've gone through, still get your master's, still establish yourself in the industry, have a consulting firm to be able to consult with clients and be a mentor to the Black and Brown community and little Latino males that are coming up and look at you and say, yeah, like I can do this too. I mean, that's an amazing, amazing feat. So tell us again, give me all the things, your website, the book, your podcast handles, and I'll get those links put up as well on our YouTube when this airs. So
Sure.
excited to have had you with me today.
Now, thank you again for this opportunity. You can find me on Instagram at Bas Moreno Consulting. That's all one word. The book, again, is called Triumph Through Pain, How to Maximize Your Full Potential in Hard Times. You could get it at my website, Bas Moreno. Again, that's BasMoreno.com. I'm looking for clients to provide financial education. So you could go on the website, or again, basmoreno.com. I'm offering free 15-minute consultations to tell me a little about your story, what you're struggling with, pinpoints in terms of your finances, and what's your number one goal you want to accomplish, and kind of help you out with my social work background, provide that empathy and compassion. We were struggling together. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. Like I got some
Yes, we're all a work in
401ks,
progress.
401ks and IRAs, and all that stuff, figuring all that out. I'm already thinking about college and looking up scholarships, even though my son's a freshman in high school. I'm trying to figure all that out right now, and just going with the flow, whatever life throws at me. So I'm doing speaking engagements. Within the last year, I got a speaking engagement coming up in Atlanta. So busy preparing for that. So just staying busy.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, thank you so much for being a CarePod guest, and definitely looking forward to collaborating with you in the future as well.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. I appreciate your time and
Yes,
being a part of this.
absolutely.
Great information right from the source. For more information on how to caregive like a boss, check out impactfulcaregiving.com. Want to be a guest on the show? Contact us at CarePod at impactfulcaregiving.com.